Good morning, you're watching UBC TV. It's the 6th day of October and another day for campaigns to continue as we take the journey to the year 2026, where we shall be having the general elections in Uganda. That is the 256. And today the timetable rather, for candidates who are campaigning looks as follows. Bobby Wine, who is Chagulanyi Sentamu Robert, will be in Mityana. It's where he will be located for today's campaign trail. And Rubirizi Buweju will be hosting Kasibante Robert, who represents the National Peasants Party. Now, Mchamuntu Gregory Oyera, who represents the Alliance for National Transformation Party, has no location stated. And moving on to Bulira Frank Kabinga of the Revolutionary People's Party, he will be in Kapchora today, the 6th of October, according to the Electoral Commission. Now moving on to Munyagwa Mubarak Serunga of the Common Man's Party, he will be in Namutumba today. And looking at Nandala Mafabi James Nathan of the Forum for Democratic Change, he will be in Fort Portal City. And Bunduwijo Ntoroko will be hosting Mabirizi Joseph of the Conservative Party on this particular day. And so far, that is who we have as to who is having their campaigns today, this Monday, the 6th of October 2025. Well, I hope your weekend was good. And even if it wasn't, the fact that you are alive, there is hope. And your best days are always ahead of you. Good morning, Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyintono. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning to you, Julie. How was your weekend?
It was quite eventful, but also good. It was quite busy, but
oh, that's good. Very interesting. At least it was quite busy. Mine was also fine.
Right.
Someone somehow took me to something called the branch matrix.
Okay.
And what I saw there, of course the theme was black, but I want to tell you, I don't know what went to the moral fabric. I'm not saying I'm backward, but some ladies there were almost naked. You'd wonder and ask yourself, but really, for sure, is this? But that was, black was the theme of the day, and people were enjoying whatever was being enjoyed. Then there's one musician who performed. That's my sister Carol Cassita, and the dress code was also another problem. I'm like, what is going to happen come some years to come? Are these people going to put on something covering anything? But
talk to the Minister of Ethics. If all of this will be done, a lot will be said, but as long as fathers, you do not take your positions to be in the lives of your children, to walk with them, to give them the assurance, even for boys, fatherless boys, you can see how they treat the women in their lives. You know? The role of a father is very pertinent. And as we look forward to celebrating the 63rd year of Uganda, I hope a father, any father, it doesn't matter what happened between you and the person you had these children with or that child with, you can separate whichever way you want, but stay in the lives of your children.
Oh, that is well said this early morning. But also on the political realm, well, campaigns are going on, people are traversing this country in different parts of this country. But there's something I liked that is from the NRM. Now, the northern region is preparing to have His Excellency canvass for votes there come mid-October. Now, the independents, that is the NRM-leaning independents, were told that should you contest as an independent, you who intend to come as an independent, well, you may be sidelined by His Excellency or miss out on any appointment. So better not stand as an independent. Think about that when you're told that maybe if you had opportunities of being appointed a minister, if you came as an independent, or whatever position that comes with, maybe there you've broken the favor that you have. So deliberately, you may be sidelined. And also when Hamsa Mabua came, he emphasized that. The Secretary General of the party, Richard Todong, also had a mention on that. So independence, you know, your NRM, you lost in the primaries, you petitioned, judgment was brought out very well, and what happens? You end up choosing to come as an independent. You're not in good books.
It looks like this time around, 2025-26, it's rather strict. If you speak of independence, I think we also have our vice president, the vice president of Uganda. She definitely was defeated in the past election. She was defeated in the primaries, and she came as an independent, but she is the vice president. But this time around, just in case the NRM party wins the general election and it is the ruling party for the next 5 years, the tables must have changed. It must be rather different this time around with those stern warnings. Well, we definitely look forward to what the picture looks like, and as UBC TV, ours is to inspire you through collecting all these stories, all the facts as they come to us, and presenting them to you as to whether they are true or not. We dissect them together, rather, you and us here, because at the end of the day, we're all Ugandans, and we have ways and perspectives through which we see these events as they transpire. For now, let's have a look at what we have on the local scene.
Well, we begin with the National Unity Platform that wound up its campaigns in Busoga sub-region. Now, National Unity Platform concluded its regional campaign trail in Busoga, rallying supporters for its NUP support. The trail amidst cheers and complaints from presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Center. There were incidents of blocked routes and cancelled rallies. Despite facing blocked routes and cancelled rallies, including one in Uganda district, Kyagulanyi managed to address supporters across several districts, spreading his message of change and empowerment. The campaign kicked off in Jinja district, where Kyagulanyi launched his party manifesto before massive crowds, then proceeded to Bujiri, Kamuli, Luka, Namayingo, and Kaliro, among others. He condemned what he termed as unfair treatment by security forces and revealed that National Unity Platform had petitioned the Electoral Commission over the disruptions. Kyagulanyi pledged to return to areas he was denied access to, including several landing sites, as residents cheered him in large numbers. The Forum for Democratic Change, FDC, presidential candidate Nathan Nandala Mafabi conducted several rallies in Bunyangabu and Kasese districts amidst tight security that drew large crowds. Addressing supporters at Rujenda Bara Town Council in Busongora North Kasese district, Mafabi pledged to fight corruption and channel recovered funds into boosting the agriculture sector. The flag bearer for FDC kicked off his campaign trail on Sunday afternoon with a rally in Bunyangabu, where security personnel guided his team on how to conduct their activities within the law. Mafabi's convoy, escorted by police patrols and drones, moved smoothly along the Fort Potro Mpondwe Road as supporters joined in a spirited procession. At Rujenda Bara Town Council, Mafabi was joined by FDC flag bearers from Kasese and was symbolically handed a shield and a spear as a sign of trust and unity. He reaffirmed his commitment to tackling corruption and investing in agriculture to uplift rural livelihoods. Mafabi is expected to continue his campaign today in Fort Potro. The Alliance for National Transformation presidential candidate General Mugisha Muntu promised to support tea and coffee farmers through cooperatives. Muntu was campaigning in Shema district, where he told the gathering that in advocating for cooperatives, Muntu aims to improve the livelihoods of farmers in the region. Muntu focus on supporting key sectors like agriculture in Shema district aligns with his broader vision of Uganda's development, which prioritizes economic growth, job creation, and poverty eradication. Coming to the end of our local stories this morning, NRM internal election losers who intend to contest as independents in the upcoming national elections risk missing out on any future presidential appointments. This warning was issued by the NRM National Vice Chairperson for Northern Uganda, Hamsomobua. He was meeting party leaders in Gulu City. The meeting convened NRM leaders from Acholi sub-region who were strategizing ahead of President Museveni's campaign visit in mid-October. The NRM flag bearers were concerned about internal election losers threatening to stand as independents in the 2026 general elections. Obua appealed to those who lost in the internal party elections to remain loyal to the party and support the official flag bearers or risk being sidelined in presidential appointments. The NRM Secretary General Richard Odong urged leaders to strengthen mobilization efforts to ensure President Museveni garners over 85% of the vote. Leaders from Acholi sub-region outlined reasons for their support to the NRM party. Now, that brings us to the end of our local stories.
I think I'm actually, what has intrigued me there is the shirt that Honorable Hamson Obua is wearing in that video clip. I think it has Gen Z. I wonder what he was communicating.
Oh, I thought you saw the beautiful face that was last.
That shirt. That if he turns, I hope the producer is able to show us the back. I don't know if that's a Z, the yellow, but when as he's speaking, he will give us his back. He will show us his back, and the back has Gen Z. You see? Oh. Gen Z, I think, for Uganda or so. Yeah, actually, it is Gen Z. Gen Z for Uganda. Now, is it Gen Z or Gen 7? Genome 7? Gen Z. It must be Gen Z. It is Gen Z. And you know, dress codes communicate quite a lot. Yes, so
Africa has beauty.
Indeed, Africa has beauty. But speaking of Honorable Hamson Obua's Gen Z shirt, I don't know if he was communicating to Gen Zs or, yeah, I would wonder, I would love to have that conversation with him to just ask him the information of why he particularly chose that shirt.
We'll just give him a call very soon and he will
would be lovely. Anyways, let's have a look at what we have on the foreign scene. And we're starting off from Ukraine. 5 people have died and tens of thousands have been left without power in Ukraine after intense Russian missile and drone attacks overnight. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said 4 members of one family, including a 15-year-old girl, were killed by a strike in the village of Lipivka, as attacks mostly targeted the western region of Lviv. Ukraine's neighbor Poland scrambled fighter jets in order to ensure the safety of Polish airspace. The Polish military confirmed. Allied NATO aircraft were also deployed. Russia's defense ministry said it had successfully carried out a massive strike on Ukrainian military and infrastructure targets. 1 person also died in Zaporizhia, and Zelensky said Russia fired more than 50 missiles and around 500 attack drones. Ukraine's Air Force put the combined figure at 549. Lviv endured several hours of strikes, leading to the suspension of public transport services and the cutting of electrical supplies. Now, moving on to matters USA and Gaza, US President Donald Trump has urged everyone involved in efforts to end the Gaza war to move fast, as mediators are set to meet in Egypt today for indirect peace talks between Hamas and Israel. The talks come after Hamas agreed to some parts of a 20-point US peace plan, including freeing hostages and handing over Gaza governance to Palestinian technocrats, but is seeking negotiations on other issues. The group's response did not mention the key demands of its disarmament and playing no future role in Gaza's governance. Writing on social media that talks had been very successful, Trump said, quote unquote, "I am told that the first phase should be completed this week, and I'm asking everyone to move first." The U.S. president added that time is of the essence or massive bloodshed will follow. Speaking to reporters earlier, Trump said he thought the hostages would start to be freed very soon. When asked about flexibility over his peace plan, Trump said, "We don't need flexibility because everybody has pretty much agreed to it, but there'll also always be some changes." Now, let's come back to the continent. 7 Al-Shabaab militants who attacked a high-security prison in Somalia's capital have all been killed, the country's government has said. A huge explosion and gunfire were heard coming from Godka Jiliko, a detention center that holds Al-Shabaab militants, in Mogadishu on Saturday evening. In a statement, Al-Shabaab said it released all the Muslim prisoners from the facility and inflicted heavy casualties on those guarding the center. The militants disguised themselves as soldiers in order to enter the prison. Government-run news agency SONA Live reported on Sunday. The government did not indicate how many of its security forces were killed during the incident, but gave its condolences to the families of the fallen heroes. Likewise, Al-Shabaab did not give a death toll for its militants. The fighting began at around 1640 local time, and Godka Jiliko is located near the Somalia Presidential Palace in the heart of Mogadishu. It is manned by Somalia's National Intelligence and Security Agency, NISA, and holds Al-Shabaab militants and other high-profile detainees. Well, now let's have a quick look at what we have in the dailies today. Robert.
We begin with the New Vision this morning, where here are probe centers on ADF terrorists, intelligence soldiers grilled over Kawesi Katumba attack. Then we have University quiz. Makerere University knocks out IU. Still, Chagulanyi vows to scrap PDM. What Oyam Pokwach voters want tackled. Then winners flagged off to Netherlands. That is the best farmer. Now, still in the New Vision here, UPDF graduates tipped on modern warfare. There is a picture of His Excellency and the CDF, if my eyes give me the right thing there. Now I'll quickly move to the Daily Monitor this morning. The power fights in the electricity sector. Okay, Uganda Premier League lags into crisis. Dr. Lawrence Mulindwa came out and said, "My team Viper, there are things we must first sort here. Think about our welfare. Teachers cry out to government." Then still here we have clerics call out government over abductions. Government to teachers. Embrace new A-level syllabus at all costs. Then what do 1995 Constitution framers regret? Well, if it is in there, what is that? Well, these and more if you get yourself the Daily Monitor or the New Vision this morning.
Interesting story of the Uganda Premier League that is in a crisis as we speak. I understand the Vipers boycotted a match over the weekend.
That is Dr. Lawrence.
Dr. Lawrence
Mulindwa's team. But I'm also very eager when the Daily Monitor talks about the power fights in electricity sector.
Yeah.
I think we are going to a very trying moment. These days, road shading, people have electricity, but it can barely do so much for them.
And yet, most businesses now run on electricity.
I think there is so much that that needs to be sorted. Otherwise, we've reached a time where people depend so much on electricity.
All right.
The phone is one of the gadgets people must have. You look at businesses, electricity means so much. And the good thing is, what we can commend government is we have, at the generation, we have so much. We generate more than what we need almost.
Right.
Now I think the only challenge is the distribution. the ability of that electricity to come to your house and
Right.
be consistent.
Indeed.
Because we would be scared if we weren't generating enough power. But government has invested in dams. So we have enough electricity.
So now
It's distribution
distribution should be
and
sorted.
keeping it there, that you can have electricity as and when you need it, anytime, 24/7 throughout the year.
Right. Looking at what we have in the rest of East Africa, the Citizen, the headline there is gold exports rise to a record of $4.3 billion. Gold has reclaimed its position as Tanzania's leading export earner after crossing the $4 billion mark for the first time in years, driven by record high global prices and growing investor demand for safe haven assets. Good stuff happening in Tanzania. Experts see electricity powering Tanzania's industrial rise. Also alarm over self-medication using AI tools. Anyways, ESC Civil Society Summit lists region's biggest challenges. And focus there is on Customer Service Week Mission Possible, putting customers at the heart of MCL's next 25 years. Quickly taking a trip as to what is in 254 Kenya. Revealed driving schools scandal. That is a deadline in the Daily Nation. Casualties, more people have died in road crashes in the first 9 months of 2025 than last year. That is in Kenya. Also, head teachers warn cash crisis hurting exam preparation. And Raila health debate stars political scene. All of that in the Daily Nation. Also, how cartels looted fertilizer subsidy. All the stories from the Daily Nation. Now, looking at the Gazette as of the 3rd day of October 2025, that's the table of contents in there. But looking at some of the notices to take into consideration, be it known that on the 23rd day of July 2025, Tibeta Abwori Joan, an advocate of the High Court, has been appointed to be a commissioner for oaths under the above-mentioned act for so long as she continues to practice as such advocate and the commission is not revoked. This is as of the 23rd day of July 2025 under the hand of Chief Justice Alfonso Chigamoy Owinyi-Dolo. And be it known that on the 10th day of September 2025, Newumbe Vera Ann, an advocate of the High Court, has been appointed to be a commissioner for so long as she continues to practice as such advocate and the commission is not revoked as of the 10th day of September 2025 under the hand of Chief Justice Alfonso Chigamoy Owinyi-Dolo. And be it known that on the 10th day of September 2025, Waswa Paul, an advocate of the High Court, has been appointed to be commissioner for oaths under the above-mentioned act for so long as he continues to practice as such advocate and the commission is not revoked. And all of this is under still the hand of CJ Alfonso Chigamoy Owinyi-Dolo. That's it from the world of the dailies. Get yourself a copy. But for now, let's have a short break with some music. Enjoy My Provider by Rachel K. We come back with a conversation on mental health. It's Mental Health Month, the month of October annually, and we're delving into that conversation. 0709602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should save and be a part of the conversation. Good morning. Good morning, you're watching UBC TV. It's the 6th day of October and another day for campaigns to continue as we take the journey to the year 2026 where we shall be having the general elections in Uganda. That is the 256, and today The timetable rather, for candidates who are campaigning looks as follows. Bobby Wine, who is Chagulanyi Sentamu Robert, will be in Mitiana. It's where he will be located for today's campaign trail. And Rubirizi Buweju will be hosting Kasibante Robert, who represents the National Peasants Party. Now, Mchamuntu Gregory Oyera, who represents the Alliance for National Transformation Party, has no location stated. And moving on to Bulira Frank Kabinga of the Revolutionary People's Party, he will be in Kapchora today, the 6th of October, according to the Electoral Commission. Now moving on to Munyagwa Mubarak Serunga of the Common Man's Party, he will be in Namutumba today. And looking at Nandala Mafabi James Nathan of the Forum for Democratic Change, he will be in Fort Portal City. And Bunduwijo Toroko will be hosting Mabirizi Joseph of the Conservative Party on this particular day. And so far, that is who we have as to who is having their campaigns today, this Monday, the 6th of October 2025. Well, I hope your weekend was good. And even if it wasn't, the fact that you are alive, there is hope. And your best days are always ahead of you. Good morning, Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyintono. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning to you, Julie. How was your weekend?
It was quite eventful, but also good. It was quite busy, but
that's good. Very interesting. At least it was quite busy. Mine was also fine.
Right.
Someone somehow took me to something called the branch matrix.
Okay.
And what I saw there, of course the theme was black, but I want to tell you, I don't know what went to the moral fabric. I'm not saying I'm backward, but some ladies there were almost naked. You would wonder and ask yourself, but really, for sure, is this? But that was, black was the theme of the day, and people were enjoying whatever was being enjoyed. Then there is one musician who performed. That's my sister Carol Casita, and the dress code was also another problem. And I'm like, what is going to happen come some years to come? Are these people going to put on something covering anything? But away from that light thing, where I thought about ethics of this country. Do we have a minister for ethics and integrity? You know, the moral fabric.
You know, if we speak of the moral fabric, let's face the fact that Uganda is highly fatherless. Yes, there are people who are at that party who had both their parents growing up, but the biggest number of girls who grow up into women who present themselves as that, many of them have not had the opportunity of a man assuring them of who they are, protecting them, covering them, and telling them who they are, not what they are. Of course, because this is not it takes a lot of God for a mom to be able to weave herself into that paternal place to assure you of who you are. But there's that incomplete structure. That's why they say many girls who are sluts, allow me, please forgive me, but yeah, who are sluts, you could check their background, there's no father or father figure, you know, in the picture. So at the end of the day, I think even if we talk to the Minister of Ethics, if all of this will be done, a lot will be said, but as long as fathers, you do not take your positions to be in the lives of your children, to walk with them, to give them the assurance, even for boys, fatherless boys, you can see how they treat the women in their lives. You know, the role of a father is very pertinent. And as we look forward to celebrating the 63rd year of Uganda, I hope a father, any father, it doesn't matter what happened between you and the person you had these children with or that child with, you can separate whichever way you want. but stay in the lives of your children.
Oh, that
Stay
is
in the
well
lives
said
of your
this
children.
early morning. But also on the political realm, well, campaigns are going on, people are traversing this country in different parts of this country. But there's something I liked that is from the NRM. Now, the northern region is preparing.
UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. If you're just joining in, welcome. This is Good Morning Uganda on UBC TV, and we always come to you live from Nile Avenue. If you started the show with us, thank you so much for tuning in and following through. And this particular moment, like I mentioned earlier, we are addressing matters mental health. It's the month for mental health awareness. Well, 10th October every year is a day to commemorate awareness matters mental health, and an opportunity to use this month to educate on matters mental health to the public, but also reduce stigma and promote emotional well-being in every human being that is on this planet Earth. And in studio with me is Bonabana Lillian Arinaitwe, who is a mental health advocate and psychotherapist, as well as the co-founder of Weyagali, a mental health hub and a mental health and wellness hub. Be a part of the conversation. 0709, pardon me, 0709 602 592. Good morning, Lillian.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for braving the early morning and coming through.
You're welcome.
It's interesting. I do not know how we got the memo, but we're wearing the same color.
Yeah.
Both dressed in magenta. If it's a color that makes sense to males. For males, it's purple, pink, whatever. But anyways, thank you so much indeed for coming through. And let's start off with the fact that many Ugandans, mental health is either a Gen Z thing, it's a thing of being bougie, or it's the thing of the Western world. But why is it important that we use a whole month to address and make awareness of mental health?
Why is it important to use a whole month? I would think it's a bit unfair, just for a month.
Right.
Because how many times do you go to the hospital, check your high blood pressure, your diabetes, or just a regular checkup? But hardly do we have triage, how they call it in hospital,
Yes.
the first step when you go to the hospital. You're checking for high blood pressure, you're checking for your weight. If you're in your normal weight, you're checking for your blood sugars. Hardly do we have triage when it comes to mental health. And in advocating for mental health, we know that your mental well-being has a way it affects your physical being. You cannot separate the two. Yes, you cannot separate the two. So for us to say that we are only going to front this for just a month is a bit unfair, but baby steps, steps. Yeah, it's not just a Gen Z thing. If you look at the statistics of it, and even when you're trying to look for solutions, because now we are going into the digital, we're trying to digitize the whole health system and trying to find solutions so that it's accessible to everyone. So even in trying to make it digitized, the reason why we do not have, or it's a bit slow coming, is because we don't have enough data when it comes to the African space to the sensitivity of our culture, looking for data or have this been recorded. I don't think it's a new thing, only that previously people were giving it different names. If someone was psychotic maybe in the 1800s, it was maybe you're bewitched. And again, this is the African context. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think anyway, not even 1800s, as recent as the 90s or the early 2000s, if someone had a mental health issue, it would be you're either bewitched or for some you're acting a certain way, you're being ill-mannered.
Yes. It even goes beyond the mental health illnesses people know, like anxiety, depression, the ones that are easy for people to speak. Even when you look at kids that have Down syndrome, kids that have OCD, right? It was so rare. They were separated in communities. They were not regarded as normal.
Yes.
To say, which is not a nice thing, because we are all different, and just because you're Julie, I'm Lily, it doesn't make you better than the other, or vice versa.
Yes.
It's just recognizing strengths in different people. Yeah.
Now, over the years, do you think maybe in the past 5 years, let's use the threshold within the past 5 years, do you think the conversation has changed to a certain degree regarding mental health?
I do think the conversation has changed to a certain degree, because now we are here, we are talking about mental health, right? Because nowadays, people with lived experiences, someone who has had a mental health condition or has experienced someone very close or has had a serious mental health condition. So when such people come out and talk about their struggles, create very safe environments, free to express, but also to be able to get the help that is needed. I feel like it's a long way coming, but yeah, there being more places are being inclusive. Yeah, because last year, the theme for World Mental Health Day was mental health in the workplace, which I say is coming up. This year, the theme for it is mental health in crisis. Yes.
Wow. And if you talk about the workplace, I actually think it's still rarely recognized.
It's rarely
there, but probably known to individuals.
Yes.
But if you think about the HR system, is it even included? Are there mental health camps? Because there are leaders, supervisors, bosses who have rude language, who abuse in their, and they do not know they're actually planting seeds of a mental, of someone becoming mentally unhealthy.
Yes.
You know?
I was having, you know, like how you go through social media, and I was having a conversation with someone, and they said that it's victims that usually come to us. Hardly do people that place such thoughts or such actions, hardly do they come for help.
Right.
It's usually the victims that come for help. But in creating awareness, right, we are not saying that this one is the wrong person, because some people don't even know. You might find they call it's culture. You're not resilient, you get it. It's finding a balance, but also for workplaces, they just have to get someone to chair that on, because in the HR policy, I think you are entitled to a mental health day, or rather sick days as your leave days.
Right.
Okay, not as part of your leave days,
yes,
but you have sick days.
Right.
Yes, but it's a struggle, but it's coming up. Yeah, because now some places are advocating for work from home remotely, in a way to also favor employees or employer mental well-being.
Right. Reminds me of a story I read that in China there's a supermarket that allows employees, if you're not feeling well, you can take I'm not feeling well leave for 10 days. If you're not okay, just write and make sure that it's real, so that management doesn't stop you from taking your I'm not feeling well leave. Just 10 days and you'll be back. How I wish it could be adopted here in Uganda, especially by Asian employers. That's only the fact. But let's take a look at your field of expertise, which is mental health advocacy as well as a psychotherapist.
Yes, please.
What inspired you to take that route?
What inspired me? Well, that's a good question. It was post-COVID, 2021. I was living with two sisters, and we all know what COVID brought. Joblessness, and also I think COVID, for me, I thank God for COVID. Not that I'm glad it happened, but I feel like as a race, we needed to slow down a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's when the thought of being a strong advocate came to us. I co-founded it with a sister, a friend. She's my partner. She's called Esther Champire. So one of our friends was battling a serious mental health issue, but because you just don't know where to go, you know, when you have a mental health crisis, you're like, now where do I start from?
Right.
Because you also do not know what is taking place in your body. You just feel sad all the time. You just feel like, why is someone not speaking? You feel like, why are they not speaking? I need to get this moving. So in that quest of trying to find help for her is when we said, actually, we could start an initiative that could talk about this more. We could, you know, educate ourselves, go back to school, study, and be able to speak from a place of information, beyond lived experience.
Right.
Because when you look at it, sometimes it's so hard to actually get mental health help. One, the services are quite expensive, honestly speaking, unless it's like an organization, like an NGO, and it's giving like free services, or they have cut down on their prices. But generally speaking, it's still an inaccessible service. Yeah. So in trying to build Boyagali, we're looking at the aspect of accessibility, affordability, and also obviously advocating it in more places. If it's a workplace, we want to advocate for it. If it's a hospital, because when you look at it, it's just beyond you and me. We could just be here speaking, but if we walk out of here, if you go to a hospital, what is the government doing about it? Why is it not integrated into the system? Why isn't it given as much attention as a primary health service? Yes.
0709602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should engage and be a part of the conversation. You talked about the theme this year being about mental health crisis.
Mental health in crisis.
Mental health in crisis. And many a times, because this is, yes, it's been talked about, but more awareness is needed.
Okay.
I have a feeling that there are many people who could be in a crisis, but do not even know that they are facing a crisis, which even makes it harder for those around them to help.
Okay. This year, it's mental health in crises and catastrophes. That means climate change, because that has to be also talked about, climate change. When we look at refugees, when we look at people that are facing a lot of maybe mostly like the climate changes, and also because Uganda, the most that we face are climate changes. I wouldn't say that, obviously we have a lot of refugees coming in and out of the country. So yes, in how, as you're addressing for it from the nutrition bit, you're trying to get them maybe Rutafa, you're trying to get them services when it comes to nutrition, but also addressing their mental health.
Yes.
Because there are really rising cases of suicide. So
Indeed. And now that you paint that picture of indeed handling mental health, but going through a moment of crisis, how can this be addressed? That means that many a times it's ignored. Many a times people look at what's happening in that moment of a crisis, health, maybe safety, physical safety, but forget the aspect of how is someone's mental well-being in that moment. What would you advise the government to take shape, given that Uganda is the leading country that hosts refugees in the world? What would you advise? What steps can it take to include in its policies?
In its policies?
Yes.
First of all, is creating awareness, right? Because you could be feeling, you could have a tight chest and maybe think you're having a heart attack, but you're experiencing what we call emotional dysregulation. First of all, it's for the government to be able to create awareness about it, like how we are able to create awareness, malaria, you know, spreading out, like giving out, what are they called, the mosquito net
Mosquito nets,
kits.
yes.
Yeah, it's spreading awareness on it, like how we did for, now I think the disease is hepatitis B, according to the African Union. So it's just creating awareness in that, and also creating accessibility. Are there actually even enough people? Because when you look at it, do we have enough human resource to be able to cover the burden of disease, or to cover the gap of the advocacy or awareness?
Right.
Yes, so it's first looking at the human resource, because it's from the human resource that you're going to get people that are going to work on the others, or create awareness, or move door to door, or even at camps, for example, BDBD. How many people do we have there? Why don't people want to actually work up country? If someone is a psychologist, why is it so hard for them to work up country? How are the working conditions around it? So for me, to address it as a challenge, yes, but also you have to first address it from the human resource bit of it.
Right.
Yes,
right.
because it's so that it's not just talk and no actions.
Right.
Yes.
And that's a call to the government that, of course, now the financial year is already planned for, you know, the 2025-26.
Yeah.
But perhaps now it should be a consideration that in the next financial year, in the next year of October 2026, that is the budget 26-27, we could see the month of October have awareness campaigns run all over media houses, media spaces, just to address mental health, if you look at it that way.
Yes, I think more places are having that, but mostly in the Kampala, in the central. Yeah, we haven't had situations like someone in Yumbe trying to do that. So it's mostly centralized in the central, in Kampala. Sorry to say Kampala. So if it could spread out throughout the country worldwide,
yes,
that would be nice.
Right.
Yes.
Now, someone is perhaps dealing with a loved one who is having mental health outbreaks, and they don't know how to help. What's the first step they can take?
The first step is talk to someone who is actually licensed to help.
Right.
Because you do not know if you're going to push them at the age or not.
What's in the situation or not?
Obviously, you have to first be empathetic, be a good listener. And in listening, you have to also seek for professional help. Yes, it's not a DIY.
Yes, yes.
It's not a DIY either. Otherwise, I know recently people were saying, oh, there is ChatGPT, but ChatGPT does not have enough information when it comes to the African
By the
context.
way, AI sometimes lies, FYI. If you did not know, sometimes it gives katwa lies.
It does. It really does. But it's you know, it's I would say computer for a layman.
Yes.
Yeah, but you have to see someone who is professional. Yes.
Indeed. Now, as a community, from wherever each one of us is planted, how do you think we can reduce stigma when it comes to mental health? Because I think stigma is one of the biggest issues that we have. And when I talk about stigma, it even starts from as close as family.
Yeah.
Probably a married couple, a wife or husband is going through something deep, but their partner is like,
they'll get over it.
Yeah, they'll get over it. Yeah, or you know, they're not actually taking it serious. That this person is in a deep pit. So how do we address stigma starting from family level to the places we serve at, like work or church, or I don't know, any religious space going up?
Okay. Last month it was Suicide Prevention Month.
Yes.
And we actually had a space, right? X space for where we were just talking about suicide. Obviously, that's on a community level, but something that someone mentioned is we are not very privileged, right? You could see someone struggling, and you're like, that that's their burden to carry, that's their challenge. But you don't know if you'll be in that same space tomorrow. So in that, we have to be safe spaces ourselves, that when someone comes to you and they want to talk about mental health, please be very empathetic. Okay, try to be empathetic, even when you're not trying, even when it's so hard to be empathetic. And sometimes that is on an individual level. On a family level,
right.
I'll just share a scenario, right? If you have a mother, right, or father or sister or like brother, and they're struggling mentally, it's as good as you repeating the same things over and over again. It's not like malaria, where you're going to go to the hospital, get an injection, and two days down the road you're better. And the next time you think about malaria is when you have a high fever or your temperatures are high. Mental health is different. You have to keep talking about it. You have to keep re-emphasizing. You just don't have to get tired. On a community level, I think just beyond ourselves and also workplaces or schools, how many times do you check on people? How many are you a safe space yourself, honestly? Sometimes we do things because it's the norm. That is how we are built. But it takes a bit of reflection for you to say, okay, when I do this, this is how it impacts. Also, listen to people around you. You could think maybe you are a good boss or you're a good employee, but listen to what people are saying. Yeah, and also on a community level, I feel like very many organizations could come together and make a bigger change, other than just each organization trying to scramble just a little pieces. But yeah, I feel like the interoperability between governments, organizations, other institutes.
NGOs,
yes.
Yeah. Let's speak about NGOs quickly.
Okay.
What do you think, actually civil society altogether, what role do you think a civil society can play in the meantime as they attract government and speak of policies that government can buy into?
Okay. Beyond advocacy, if someone is professional to handle that, maybe they could give a bit less at a cheaper price of fees, because you also have to cater that these people have families to look after. So just them working together, more of more partnerships, and advocating. When you talk about something, for example, mental health in the workplace, the more you talk about it, is the more maybe bosses like, okay, this, we could do this. Yeah, we could do this. Because right now, it's the big workplaces like banks that have started bringing in people, you know.
True.
Yeah, even on the insurance, you see that they're putting a bit of psychosocial help. There are maybe 1 or 2 service providers, which is a long way coming. We do not expect it to at once, like it's a vaccine. We've come up with a vaccine, but just different organizations working together. But also, there is what we call in the health system, there is what we call interoperability, when you are trying to, when you're trying to look at how you can digitize health systems. If someone has come into the nutrition ward, how are they being, referred to the mental health ward, or someone to see them. So it's just the working together of different organizations, people. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. That is Bonabana Lillian Arunaitwe. She is a mental health advocate and a psychotherapist, as well as co-founder of Weyagali, a mental health and wellness hub. She's been having a conversation with us in regards to the Mental Health Awareness Month, which is this particular month of October, and the particular day is 10th October. Lily, what would be your parting shot?
My parting shot is, you see how our initiative is called Weyagali?
Yes.
I do think that it all starts from self. If you're seeking for help, or if you, anywhere way that you want to impact society, even just beyond us who talk about mental health, even you as Julie, it all starts with self. It starts from self. I think that's why we even said, okay, let's just say it, name it Weagale. Because for you to seek for help, you have to first be aware of yourself. You're like, oh, you know what, I'm struggling.
Right.
Even for you to be able to look out for Lily, you have to also be aware on your end. For us to go to different communities, it all starts from self. You cannot advocate for something that you do not believe in.
Yes.
It's so hard. Yes. So it's the parting shot is Weagale.
Surely, indeed, Weagale. Not even the Bible says love others like you love yourself.
Yeah.
That means you can only pour that love if yours is full. If you have loved yourself, then you can easily love others. Now, how best can one contact you in case they need to work with you with Weagale?
Okay, they can check out our website.
Oh yes.
Our website is www.weagale.org or Instagram wea.gale. It's Weagale, but there is a dot. Wea.gale. Then also our LinkedIn. We are very active on LinkedIn. We are active on Instagram, but also our phone number are 256-777-080-125.
Right, and that brings us to the end of this conversation. I'll close it with just a couple of your comments. Good morning, Uganda. Ondaro Vincent from Morokatipe, Tororo. There has been a rise in mental health cases. What are the major causes and how can it be addressed? Definitely, Lillian will be coming back to delve deeper into this conversation. Good morning, Julie. And my question is, what are these people really doing with our relatives in Butabika? It is so abandoned. Right. Indeed, that conversation will be engaged in a little later on when we have Lillian back in studio. But thank you so much for being on the show. +256-777-080-125. Contact Weagale and be a part of the awareness of mental health. Even if you have an issue yourself, talk to somebody. That number there is one to start that journey. Good morning. Up next is JMU Tourism Express. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here, in the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, Visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Taxation is a bit complicated, and the only way to demystify it and make it as easy to understand and to comply with is through engagement. Is there a limit to the number of cars a returning citizen is bringing into Uganda? Who has paid the excise duty on this water is not the supermarket which has sold you this bottle at 1,000. It's not the business. It is the man who is going to drink this water. We strongly believe that it will only be through such constructive engagement that we'll be able to broaden our tax base and build our country together.
Buza Commissioner. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Well, World Tourism Day is happening in Arua, and we are in Arua grounds where it's happening. The celebrations, there are a lot and a number of exhibitors. But one of the places that did catch my eye is Ara Fishing Lodge. This one I have visited before, and it is very interesting, very beautiful. Thought about a place where you can have the leisure, the adventure just in one space. It's a full package, but I would not want to spoil for you. You'll get to hear from the man himself. How are you, sir?
I'm good and very happy that you have all come to West Nile.
Yes.
Arua is the heart of West Nile. West Nile generally has emerged as a very vibrant place post-war, and most Ugandans don't know about it. And this time we really appreciate the government and the Ministry of Tourism to shine the light on West Nile. And here we are as ARA. We are the well-established tourism destination in West Nile. And although we are called ARA Fishing Lodge, we are much more than a lodge. We are a holiday destination, but we are also a getaway, for those who just want to go and relax, and all tourist activities you can imagine. And what we're trying to position, because Uganda, especially now UTP, is encouraging Ugandans to be local tourists, so that we diversify our offering as Uganda beyond the big five and the mountain gorillas. They are good enough well, but one of the most things God has given us as Uganda is the Nile. Some activities going on in Jinja, but that's a small section of the Nile. Instead, a lot of activity on the Nile is taking place in Alexandria, in Egypt.
Yes.
So West Nile has 210 kilometers of motorable Nile with all sorts of activities, be it sports fishing, be it birding on the Nile, be it cruises, being sightseeing, and we have set up all this, and we really encourage people to come and see what happens here in West Nile.
The World Tourism Day has brought in very many numbers for people in West Nile. It has actually given them an opportunity to see what is happening in West Nile. So as one of the exhibitors, how have you positioned yourself to tap into these numbers for your lodge?
First, we focused on positively portraying West Nile, because most people do not know that Uganda is now peaceful from Kampala to Koboko. They still think Kony is around. Then also they think we have not emerged out of the war. So we as West Nile, we have been showing that we are vibrant. There's good nightlife, is a good place to be, happy people, people who love visitors, wanted to show that we really love and welcome visitors. In any case, we are located at two borders, DRC and South Sudan. By the way, one time West Nilers were part of Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. Then we were given to Belgian Congo and back. So we are very international people, and we like hosting. Now, SRR, we have positioned to really showcase that we are a tourism option. Many people have already been to Queen Elizabeth. They have been to Jinja. They have been to Machison. They are looking at having an option. They have escaped to Kalangala. Okay, so we are presenting an option, a fresh one. People should not be stuck or bored. They take a longer road trip, but it's fun with a lot of stops. You have Das Coated Muchomo at Kafu.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice places to and fun along the way, and you come to us. And when you come, you won't believe the Nile here, the cottages we have set up, the activities we have set up. Whether you want to spin a quad bike, it's here, and the mud is here. It's crazy, so nice. Whether you want to immerse in farm tourism, okay, what you see in Kainela is here. We have all the birds, okay, yeah, and we really encourage people to come. You want adventure? It's here, Mount Oche, okay. You want to hike? You want to walk in canopy? Zoka Forest is there, and you know it's the only forest which has the flying squirrels, which has woodland, a savanna, and rainforest all in one, and indigenous coffees too. Actually, genetic material is constantly extracted from it to strengthen our coffee in Uganda. So when you're making money from coffee, just know that the disease-fighting things, the natural things are growing here in West Nile. You know, indigenously, we had coffee. Yeah. So all these options exist, but most important, you want to have a destination event, that special birthday. You want to get away with your friends. You have a girls' party, besties, or guys only, buddies want to come away. It is here. We have party houses, and we say what happens in Ara remains in Ara, because we're on a peninsula. It is a dead-end road. Okay, it's a dead-end road. It is there. You can come and play hard, recuperate. Now for the corporates, the most you need a retreat destination to come and refocus or to celebrate that win. We are the option, an affordable option. We have made sure we have set sports grounds for team building, board games, very creative places where people can brainstorm. And if you have to celebrate and give awards, we can set you the venue. The awardees can be so happy. And the pictures you can capture can portray your organization nicely, even your staff. Their Instagram will just crash. Yeah? Because the backgrounds, the picture frames, the backdrops we have created at ARA is unimaginable. And you know the most important thing? The sunset. You need a golden moment on a 200-meter beach line, no other people. You want to have your sundowner cocktail or breakfast on a floating dock on the water. You want to just sit and paint the horizon. Okay. All this happens here.
If anyone is not enticed by how you've taken us through Ara, really, they should visit and come see for themselves. What is it that people do not know about West Nile?
Now, first, people do not know where it is. Some are wondering, is it in Karamoja? Is it in Gulu? You need to find that out. Now we are on the northwestern part of Uganda. Okay. The other thing people don't know about West Nile, it is the most diverse part of Uganda. It's not one tribe. We have Logbara, we have Kapo, we have Alu, we have Jona, we have Made, we have Aringa, we have Reli, we have Aliba, we have Gimara. culturally very diverse. The other thing people don't know about West Nile, we are the ones who formed Uganda. Did you know that? So when they were exploring Uganda in 19th century, the whites approached from two directions. From the coast, going westwards, okay? But also they started from Egypt downwards, Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, okay? And you know the story of the Nubians. So they brought the Nubian force. The Nubian force established the first location or management of Uganda in Dufile, actually in Moyo, in a place called Dufile First in 1876, okay? Before the 1900 agreement, 24 years before the 1900 agreement. You must have heard of Gordon, you must have heard of Emin Pass. There's Emin Pass Hotel in Arua, yeah. and the Nubians. And then the Nubians, West Nile incorporated in them. This force was given to Lugard, okay, Captain Lugard. Yes. That Fort Lugard, you see in old Kampala, was established by us West Nilers together with Nubians. Okay? And actually, we sometimes say Uganda was not supposed to be Uganda protectorate, it's supposed to be Nubian protectorate. Okay? So we went and put the force, which then worked with the Buganda to establish Uganda. You know, so the story began here. The next thing which they need to know about West Nile is that when Winston Churchill came to Uganda, okay, in 1908, he came to watch and track rhinos in Ajai Game Reserve. The only place in Uganda where white rhinos occurred naturally is Ajai. And that's why we have a place called Rhino Camp. Okay? This is also the place where President Roosevelt came to hunt rhinos. If you go in his presidential library, which is normally the museum of past American presidents, the biggest thing there is a trophy, even a picture he took in West Nile. Okay? In about, I think, about 1912. Okay? Yes. Here. So this West Nile is the place where great people, before Uganda was established properly, chose to be. Okay? West Nile also, apart from Kasese, has been the center of cotton growing. Okay? West Nile has got the longest part of the river, which is motorable, where cruises could run. We spin that boat with you the first time we launched it. Yeah. And we are now making bigger ones to have 210 kilometers of white water cruising. The Kazinga Channel is only 43 kilometers. This is 210, 5 times, passing through a route of history, where the explorers like Emin Passa came, where the Nubians moved, the same route followed by President Roosevelt, Sir Churchill, where slave trade, abolition enforcement of the Khartoumers. You know, there was a slave trade route from West Nile through Khartoum to Egypt and across. Yeah. Apart from the one which went to the coast, this was another route. So the abolition, this was also the route where the enforcement is very rich history. You know, so you take this cruise, you are following in the footpath, and we narrate this, so it will just not be cruising. You stop at Wadlai, you stop at Wanglai. It's all on this route, where the Gipiri Labong history which we learn is it comes live. And you would have enjoyed Pahwat with Anagnang and Angara, and you take this cruise with a stop in Oboni, upon where really the big story of the Nubians is, okay, and where even Islam started on this part.
Okay, yeah. But sorry to cut you short. All the stopovers that you have talked about, are there monuments that still talk about these stories?
Yeah, sure. So first, we have relics, a lot of relics, and now we have developed these sites with signages, with picture frames, take pictures, they need tour guides to speak to them. This we have perfected. Yeah.
What better way to explore West Nile? Just with adventure, with history, and everything that you would want to know in this region. While Tourism Day is happening, we are in Ara Fishing Lodge, just as one of the exhibitors, and wait for more that is still coming up from the celebration. Stick around.
Last word, West Nile is open to tourism. The community is so enthusiastic, open, happy to host visitors. Come and see this great part of Uganda and finish the Uganda story.
Thank you so much.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from JMU Tourism Express. Time for business. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and we're starting off with the NRM government that has been commended for placing emphasis on science and innovation, which has promoted research and led to the manufacturing of various products available on the market. President Museveni says the key to economic growth is in the promotion of science and technology, which will pave way for more industries. The Assistant Commissioner for Biomedical and Electromechanical Engineering at the Ministry of Health, Engineer Tadeo Byabagambi, says promoted research will lead to manufacturing of various products. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of the Uganda National Association of Medical and Hospital Engineering Seminar at Makerere University. The Vice Chairman of UNAMHE, Dr.